Hi folks, welcome to Wolf Rights Talk. In today's episode we are going to have a chat with Lt.Col Saris of the 1st Texas. Meanwhile, there's a gameplay of the 1st Texas in the background. If you want to see more gameplay and better comments, check out Jehovah's and Saris channel. The links are in the description. And now, enjoy the interview. So, greetings, Lieutenant Colonel. It's a pleasure to have you at Wolf Rights Talk. First things first, is it actually Safu or Saris?
It's Saris. I went by Safu just as a meme. It's an inter-regiment meme for First Texas. I thought it was funny, so I decided to use it from now on. But I go by Saris.
Alright then, and we shall continue with Saris. I believe the community would like to know something about you personally, so feel free to tell us something about yourself, what you want to share. Like how old you are, where you live, what's your profession, apart, of course, from leading the 1st Texas. I guess that's not your full-time job.
No, it's not. I'm a college student, currently a senior at I would say a mid-sized college in East Texas, and I'm a history major. And I'll be graduating come in the spring. And then after that, just start my life.
Nice, sounds good. So
With things like that.
So my next question would be why the 1st Texas, but since you already told us that you are from Texas, I think that's that's clear. Why the 1st Texas, not another Texas regiment?
So when I signed up to join the 1st Texas 4 years ago, I was looking to join the Texas Regiment, given I'm from Texas, and I was looking around on the forums, and my former captain, who's currently retired from War Rights, almost like you, he was running a company called Company F, Woodville Rifles, and Woodville, the town of Woodville, is actually pretty close to where I'm from. So I was like, hey, I want to join them. So I did. And then 4 years later, I'm now like the leader of 1st Texas.
Nice. Seems developing good. One of my viewers asked, is there a German company inside the 1st Texas?
Historically, or like at the moment, like people?
Okay,
people, like people playing the game?
I think it's more a structural thing. So, was there historically a German company, or is there in your unit right now? I think both of them.
Well, I can answer both. Historically, I don't think so, and at the moment, no. 1st Texas at the moment is purely an NA-based regiment. We do have some Europeans in our group, but I tell like everybody that joins up, it's like, hey, we just do NA times. You're welcome to play at those times if you want, but if the times don't work for you, I mean, no hard feelings. You're welcome to leave and find another regiment. And going back to the historical part, where 1st Texas was mainly raised is the east side of Texas where I'm from. There wasn't many Germans there. Like the Germans you would find in Texas would be in like the central southwestern part of Texas. Do you know where like San Antonio is?
Not really, but is there any big city?
It's southwest of Texas, southwest of Austin. We call it the hill country of Texas. That's where a lot of Germans came and settled in the 1840s, and many of those men who were eligible at the time joined the ranks of the regiments who were formed there. Like for example, one regiment I know of is the 3rd Texas, who mainly did guard duty on the Texas-Mexican border and fought in like one campaign in Louisiana. But besides that, they didn't do much. There could have been more Germans in other regiments, but honestly, I don't know much.
Germans are just good at guarding things, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's our stuff. So, how is the organization of the 1st Texas? So, you are a lieutenant colonel. Here in Europe, usually the highest rank you can find in Wolf Rights is a major, but we can see many US units with higher ranks. What's the organizational structure in the 1st Texas?
So, I'm going to speak of it in two different phases. I would say the phase of when I first joined 1st Texas, for the first 2 years I was with the regiment, and then the next 2 years where I actually became the leader of 1st Texas, and I kind of reshaped 1st Texas to how I want to see it run. So the first phase, like the first 2 years I was with First Texas, we actually had up to 6 companies. We had, each company, I would say, this is how we regarded the companies as separate but equal, where companies ran their own thing, they recruited their own guys, promoted their own ranks, and First Texas at the time was actually almost like a democracy for our highest ranks, lieutenant colonel, major, where each company gets a vote for those two positions, and those positions, the person who wins holds like lieutenant colonel, major for a span of 3 to 6 months, depending on how long people want to wait till a new election. And then after that, once drama happened within the regiment and there's many people stopped playing and leaving, where I basically took over the regiment. I reformed it to be more of the traditional way regiments are ran in this game, where there's a sole leader. That's me in my case. And we currently have 2 companies at the moment where I try to keep them roughly equal in size. So like I know, like at the moment we have D, F, and of course another company, C, as our special company. D and F are our line companies, and I expect them to have between 15 to 20 guys each. So I know if I want to send one company to do things, I know roughly how much guys they would have. Our C company, which is our special company, we use them for artillery if it's usable and actually effective, and skirmishing if we need it. But yeah, that's basically it for how I run the companies at the moment.
So basically, guys watching our video at the moment are seeing the gameplay of Company C, the artillery.
Yeah, that's Company C.
Alright. Actually, let's move to basic War of Rights stuff. What was the first time you noticed War of Rights, the game, and how did it get your attention?
So I've always been a history buff, given like I decided to pick history as my major in college. I don't know, I was always fascinated with like the era of line battles, era of muskets, where men in the thousands would march against each other in just straight lines and just fire at each other. I really was interested in like the Napoleonic Wars, but once I started learning about the Civil War and actually like it was in America, it was based in America, and like my state Texas was involved in it, I could actually relate more to it. So I got into the game. And for the longest time, I played like Napoleonic Wars from Mountain Blade Warband. I played all the Total Wars, Empire, Napoleon. What's the other one that in Shogun 2? Fall of the Samurai with the line battles. And this is about 2016. I was getting into the Civil War, and I downloaded the mod called North and South for Napoleonic Wars, which is a multiplayer mod, basically similar to NW, but it's set in the Civil War. And on the loading screen, it said War of Rights. So I was like, okay, I want to check this out. And this is where I get into like, hey, I wanted to join a regiment. I want to be in First Texas. I want to be in a Texas regiment. I saw First Texas Company F with the rifles. And from there on, here I am.
Nice, so good job, Hinger, for the mod. Seems
Thank
like
you.
a good promotion for War of Rights.
Yeah.
Let's say, what do you like the most about the game War of Rights?
The thing I like the most about the game is what most people would say is the immersive aspect of the game. It like you feel like you're in the combat of the Civil War. Besides that, just like most games there is of the Civil War, it's usually like a commander in the sky, like Total War. This one's you're actually on the field in the mud fighting each other, line to lines, like you're really there, given the immersive aspect of the game. I think that's my favorite part overall. The historical authenticity of the game is what's another thing I really like about it. Like, there's some aspects that the devs can improve on, but overall, the game I feel like is really historically accurate on how they're trying to represent the Maryland campaign of Antietam, Harper's Ferry, and South Mountain, and hopefully in the future, Shepherdstown.
Yeah, hopefully. You've played NW. What do you prefer actually, playing it in first person or in third person?
I'm a given I've gotten really good in the melee. I love third person. I feel like first person is really useful for shooting, but besides that, I would not be caught dead in first person trying to be in melee. So definitely third person just gives you a better view of what's going on in the combat.
I think that's the point you're going to add in the next question. What other contents you would like to have seen changed in the future, or let's say next updates? I'm referring to the melee mode, for example.
I don't know if you've viewed the forums, but I've been quite vocal about getting the melee rework out. Like they've announced it 5 years ago, back in 2015, saying, "Oh, there's going to be parrying. There's going to be different broader aspects to melee than just the just stab and hopefully you live through a melee." I've been besides that, I'd love to see historical mode. Me and many of my guys, given I've been playing 4 years, some people a little bit less, some maybe longer than me. We're kind of getting burnt out of the normal maps we've been playing on all the three battles that are currently present. Um, Besides that, like the game is fun overall. It's just the repetitiveness of the game is I hope to get rid of. Like if we can get rid of that, the game would be great.
What could they do to make it a bit more special in each round?
The main thing they could do to fix the game for the most part is get rid of the repetitiveness. Like if they get rid of that, like a lot more people would enjoy the game a lot more because once you play a map 2 3 times, you understand where the Union's going to go, where the Confederates are going to go. You know where to defend, where to attack, and like if you spice that up, if you have like the historical mode where you can march over the entire map or just random maps, you won't expect the same thing over and over and over. Get rid of that repetition, I think the game would be a lot more special.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Please tell us something about the in-game history of the first Texas. Feel free to sum it up, maybe from the start until now. We have already talked about a bit of it. Yeah, full version, please.
So, from what I've heard from the founders of First Texas, the regiment, the one I'm a part of, which we do have some members that dated back from their start, was formed in I think 2012 in a Mountain Blade mod called Secession. Then they went on to Mountain Blade, Napoleonic Wars, North and South, which they were there for a long time. And that's at the end of that is when I joined up. And then we transferred over to War of Rights, hoping, this would be the thing we'd stick to. Um, Given I know mostly about the time I was here, from what I've heard from the time before me, it was pretty straightforward of how things went. It was basically when I joined in my time with First Texas when things actually radically changed. We split up in a couple ways, given that's going to happen in all internet groups. But overall, and then of course, when I joined in, played with the regiment for a couple years. I'd say the first 2 years I was with the regiment, this was when we experienced war rights in a big lull. I think the first 2 years was drill camps. Were you here for drill camps? Like Union, Confederate drill camps?
Yeah, drill camps, of course.
We played that, but besides that, we also did North and South. It was not until actually skirmishes came out with the first three maps, Dunker Church, Burnside Bridge, and what's that? Bloody Lane were the first three maps when we actually started actively playing the game. Then we started playing that a lot, experienced a lull given there wasn't much updates to the game at the moment. We took a break. Then we came back. I'd say we reached the peak of First Texas. I remember one of our events, we reached 77 guys in one of our events, and it was really fantastic.
That's a number.
77. That's a number. We haven't reached that number again, but I hope to one day. We're currently 3/4 there. The highest First Texas under me during the Steam Summer Sale, we reached like 55. So, and we currently hold about 40, 45 guys that play on a weekend. So, really good numbers for most groups in War of Rights.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So actually,
Yeah.
what does except from numbers, we have many American viewers as well who might be interesting in joining. What distinguishes the First Texas compared to other U.S. units?
It's a pretty hard question. I gotta think about that.
Take your time.
One thing I've noticed compared to most groups is we're pretty modest with our ranks. Uh, there's many groups on the North American side who try to inflate the ranks they have. We call them top heavy, too many chiefs, too few Indians, whatever you want to call it, where they inflate the ranks. You know that we have. I don't know if there's any corps on the EU side, but we got like 20,000 corps on the NA side. Tons of people who call themselves major, lieutenant, or brigadier generals. And like some of these guys, I mean, they might bring a lot of people, they might not. But I've seen a lot of inflated egos on the North American side. Many people from I've heard that respected the First Texas for being actually authentic with our ranks. I can say we're not the most authentic group there is with our rank structure. Shout out to the First New Jersey for actually, pulling the actual ranks from the book. But in terms of proportion, I say First Texas actually does it really well um, with our rank structure. Besides that, our events, I've usually heard from the small groups that, oh, we want to play with First Texas, and that's actually annoyed some people to the point of we've actually destroyed some special events because of that, because like the person hosting it got pretty pissy that they don't want to play with them, they wanted to play with First Texas, so that was pretty cool.
Sounds like
um,
the U.S. community is a bit more toxic than the European
oh
one.
yeah, definitely, like there's I could say the US side has a lot of egos, inflated egos, of course. And for the most part, me personally, like I've kind of got into it. The past previous leaders of First Texas got into it, but I've told my guys is like I just want to stay away from the drama. I just want. I'm here to play the game. I'm not here to cause drama. I don't care for any of that. Like it's honestly stupid that many people like try to start stuff. Some people enjoy starting drama, but for overall, I just try to ignore it because you can start it whenever, but you can't stop it whenever.
Good words, good words.
Yeah.
What are you?
So
Sure, go
go
for
ahead.
it. All
Uh,
right. What are your future plans in War of Rights with the First Texas?
Future plans would be for the most part is looking forward to historical mode. Like all the updates now that we're going to get in the future is leading to that final point, and that's honestly the final point of War of Rights, where we can expect actually the final release is the historical mode. Like we're gearing up for that. We're hoping for that to come out in actually a good um shit good version that we can play. I wouldn't bring that there at the second, but yeah, that's what we're looking for. Besides that, we've actually started looking to games like Beekoff, who is currently in the works, and we're looking forward to do that when that actually becomes playable. But given not many updates at the time being with War of Rights, I mean, we're just playing every weekend. Trying new things, trying new events, trying to spice things up to keep people interested and active in the game.
Relatable. For those who haven't seen your YouTube channel yet, what are you doing there? What kind of content can one see there on your channel?
I actually run two channels. The main one that most people know me from is called Saris. That's my gamer name. I mainly post War of Rights content there. I usually post videos of our events, and then ever so often random games I might play with my regiment, given it might be Mordhau, Total War, uh, Mountain Blade Warband, Bannerlord, stuff like that. The other channel I actually started up in the past summer was called Warhawk, and where we're actually animating the battles of the Civil War. And at the moment, I just released a video called Shiloh Part 1. It's called The Road to Shiloh. And the one I'm currently working on is actually Part 2, is the getting into the Battle of Shiloh. And if you've seen any channels like Epic History, History March, Kings and Generals, Invicta, where they do
Oh,
these animated
they're they're my
battles.
favorite ones.
Yeah, I'm doing actually something similar with the Civil War. So I could send you a link once we're done here, so you
Yeah,
could check it out.
honestly, I haven't before. Of course, it will be in the description for everyone, but I think that's the next thing I will do.
All right, cool. But
Sounds interesting.
yeah, pretty brand new with the channel. I'd say I'm pretty. My new one is smaller compared to Saris since it's newer, but we're chugging along and getting really good feedback for what we've done. I work with another guy from the War Rights community called Jay Woody. He's from the 6LA, and he writes amazing scripts. He helps me with every aspect of the series, and yeah, I really enjoy the process too. It's something I've always wanted to do. I've seen, the guys I mentioned before, the channels. I was like, I want to do something like that. And like I started learning, watching videos, learning how to use After Effects and create stuff on Photoshop. And like I've just started getting work, and like I really enjoyed it. Like I look forward to actually making these videos and like actually animating videos, and like I get to watch my previous videos I made and just, you know, have feel accomplished. Like what I've done is like this is something I want to do, and I'm doing it now. So I feel great. It feels great to do it.
Of course, good luck.
Thank you.
Next one, I think, is a really tough question. If you want, you can take your time, of course. What made you the commander you are today?
What made me the commander I am today?
Yeah, in War of Rights.
It's there's a lot of things that basically made me what I am today with War of Rights. I would say a lot of playtime, understanding all the mechanics of the game, understanding how everything works, understanding the maps and how they are fought, finding the best places to fight. But overall, the main thing that has really gotten me to where I am today is practice. Like I know practice makes perfect, but it's true. Like honestly, when I started leading First Texas, I was kind of nervous when I was in command because I know, victory defeat lays on my shoulders. And if me and my team wants to win, I have to do my part. I feel like my part's the most important. And if I don't do my part, I let my guys down. And I think that's one thing that has attracted a lot of people to the First Texas is my style of leadership. I've been told by many of my guys they really enjoy how I lead. Recently, I have delegated some of the commands to other people, and it's really have made First Texas a lot better from before, where it just relied on me to relying on a few more guys, and we actually done a lot better. But the main thing is practice and knowing how everything works in the game. Given we don't play the same as EU teams, like from what I've seen from Jehovah or any other YouTubers or just like random videos by the EU guys, they do more of the authentic historical events where they do double ranks. We play more for like the actual game, what we see to be made, or me be made to play is, playing for the cap, playing for the morale. And we really game the game and its mechanics. But yeah, main thing is practice and just knowing all the aspects of the game.
Well spoken. Of course, everyone has their own approach to the game. Do you have an advice for, let's say, new players or players who would like to climb up the ranks and someday maybe found their own regiment or be a captain or major?
Given how I went through the ranks is one of the more traditional routes. Um, if somebody wants to create their own regiment, they have to put in a lot of work because first off, you're starting something from scratch. You have nothing, you have nobody, and main thing is you have to actually recruit people into your group. You have to be convincing enough to get people to come back every weekend. And I've honestly been, I would say, lucky with that with the First Texas, where I've inherited a group, given like it was a lot of guys I've recruited in the past that just stuck with me throughout all the times, and we've grown to be one of the, I would say, dominant groups in the NA side of things. But for most people, it's just, you got to put a lot of work into it. You got to be convincing. You have to be. Another thing is good at the game too. Just know your stuff, because most people, from what I see on the NA side, they won't really follow you if you're good. They won't really follow you if you're not convincing. So if you have those two things, you can, build a regiment of your own, in which I've seen it. Like there's been successful brand new regiments, there have been horrible brand new regiments, but it totally depends on the guy trying to make that regiment. If he's convincing, if he's good, he can actually have a good chance of forming a regiment that will stay a long time. And there's been some like that. Like there's always some like that, and there's some that they fell because of the person in command, or how it's structured, or how well he commands. So that's my main thing.
Thank you. Thank you so far. Do you have anything to say, last but not least, to the word? Some last words?
To the what? Last words. Well, thanks for getting me on your show. I'll definitely share it around with the NA guys. I've enjoyed my time playing War of Rights. Like, if I haven't, I honestly wouldn't be here this long. Like I say this, I do complain about the game a lot, but in the end, I do come back every weekend to play with First Texas. I do hope things would get better with the game. There's many things that the game can improve on, but hopefully in due time, main things are fixed that keep people coming back. Personally, from everything I've seen running a group, I've been really vigilant in how people react to the game, how, like, when they find out how it actually is. Like, you get the beginner, what's the word? I go brain dead sometimes, but they get really excited about the game because they see it on YouTube or they see it on Twitch, and they're like, hey, I want to get this game, it looks really cool. But once they find out how the game really is, it kind of pushes them away, or burns them out real quickly. If the devs can get rid of that thing that is causing people to stop playing the game, which I feel like is a repetition, I think the devs, the Campfire Game company, can actually have a really successful game here. Like, they have this community now that loves to play the game every weekend. People make tons of videos, myself included. But if I don't know if the devs really want to have like a big game where everybody's talking about it, but if they want to have at least a successful game, I would definitely look at the things that are causing people to be pushed away from War of Rights. If they can fix that, I think they can have a really good game here with War of Rights.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Schimmel.
See you in the future. I hope you enjoyed our talk. In case you are new to the channel, in order to allow variety, I will organize the interviews like the seasons. In each season, we are going to have one guest from the German community, one from the European not German community, and one from the US community. So please, write down in the comment section who you wish to be in the next season. This is the final episode of this season. Next week will be the start of the second season, starting with Major Greenberg of the Alabama's German Legion. Which question should I ask him? Who would you like to hear in the next seasons? Put it down in the comment section, and if you like the channel, hit the like and subscribe button. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.